Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, the tragic death of an Edna cheerleader spurs a scholarship in her honor.
A murder suspect in Port Lavaca facing trial Monday. The details coming up.
A North Texas rideshare driver stands accused of sexually assaulting a child.
We had additional showers roll around the area today. It's all been courtesy of this little old frontal system and a bunch of tropical moisture offshore. So the rain does begin. Good news is we haven't had any flooding. We'll be talking more about how long this will last coming up in just a moment.
And Victoria Generals are back home tonight against the Baton Rouge Rougarou. That's in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. This is an alert day, which means we're going to take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bittis. Did you get drizzled on when you walked into the newsroom today?
No, I did not. But this afternoon, the clouds got very, very dark.
Yeah, some outcast out there. We are expecting more showers. When will the rain end? Not that I want it to end.
Well, the thing is, you know, we want the rain. We just don't want the flooding. And so far, it's been at a good, steady pace. Some of you are saying or asking me, where is the rain? Well, it's been all over the place. In fact, we've already had parts of the county that have received over 3 inches. Now, we're going to be looking at the frontal system, which is one of the systems that created the lift. Also, we've got an old tropical wave down off the coast that's adding to this rain opportunity. And now, because we've had the rain, we're very close to a flood watch situation. In other words, if you see one big thunderstorm, we've already got wet ground, so that would be causing flash flooding. So we're still, shall we say, on the edge of good rain and no serious problems. But this is going to continue for only 3 more days. And then by next week, well, it's another big pattern change. And we'll be talking about that one a little bit later on. So we'll toss it back to you right now.
Mac, thank you. A 20-year-old, or rather a 23-year-old Port Lavaca man heads to trial Monday on murder charges. Blake Downs is accused in the shooting death of 19-year-old Cohen Burham. The trial starts Monday at 9 a.m. This incident happened in April of 2022 at Downs' house at 98 Holman Road in Port Lavaca. Authorities say both the victim and the suspect were intoxicated at the time.
Tuesday, Victoria police arrested a 28-year-old Inez man accused in a shooting. Julius Stastny of Inez is charged with aggravated assault on a family member with a weapon. He's accused of shooting 37-year-old Bradley Innocenti inside an apartment in the 8300 block of Northeast Zach Lentz Parkway. Innocenti was transported to the hospital. He's in stable condition. Stastny was in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $50,000 bond. He has since bonded out.
The death of an Edna High School cheerleader continues to touch the lives of many in our area. 25
News Now reporter Darius McCormick has more on a scholarship created to honor Lisbeth Medina. Darius?
There's no debate. Lisbeth Medina's death shook the city of Edna. However, the tragic loss is now inspiring the city. Edna High School's class of 1983 established the Lisbeth Medina Memorial Scholarship Fund. Since Medina cheered on the Edna Cowboys, the scholarship will go to students who want to follow in her footsteps. And the cost of cheering is not cheap. Prices can vary from hundreds to thousands of dollars a year, which is another reason the class of '83 decided to start this fund. Our bank donated $500 to the fund, while 2 alumni donated $2,500. And the man charged in Lisbeth Medina's death faces capital murder charges. Rafael Govea Romero is awaiting trial. Back to you guys.
Darius, thank you. Palacios police say a 68-year-old man died last Friday night in a crash. Israel Garcia of Palacios was riding his bicycle when he was hit by a vehicle and killed on First Street. The driver of the vehicle was identified and stayed at the scene. He's cooperating with the investigation.
A North Texas rideshare driver is charged with sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl. Police say it happened in Plano while he was driving her home. Authorities say Robert Gregory Johnson picked up the girl up in Frisco and went to a parking lot. Police arrested Johnson and he has since posted bond. The Victoria ISD is inviting community members to participate in public meetings to help select a new superintendent. The first meeting is at Shields Elementary at 5:30 Monday, August 5th. That same day, there's one at Allo Elementary at 7 p.m. Tuesday, August 6th. There is a 5:30 p.m. meeting at Hopkins Elementary and a 7 p.m. at Vickers Elementary. Finally, on Monday, August 19th, there is a 6 p.m. meeting at Mission Valley Elementary. During its July 15th meeting, the Calhoun County ISD Board of Trustees approved raises for teachers and hourly employees. $1,000 was approved for teachers and $500 was approved for teachers who topped the salary scale in lieu of a step raise. So here is your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, do you think increased teacher pay will lead to better educators? Yes or no? According to our results, it looks like 60% stand at no and 40% voted yes. Thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10. Tonight, President Biden will speak from the Oval Office for the first time since dropping out of the race.
His endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris helped propel her to become the presumptive Democrat presidential nominee in just over one day.
After more than 5 days isolating with COVID at his Delaware beach home, today President Joe Biden is back in the nation's capital.
Mr. President, how are you feeling?
How are you feeling?
How are you feeling?
Set to deliver a speech unlike that of any president in more than 50 years, explaining why he's dropping out of the presidential race. Biden's team says he then plans to aggressively campaign with Vice President Kamala Harris. The first poll since Biden withdrew shows Harris has a slight lead over former President Trump, but Trump has been leading in the handful of battleground states that are crucial to win this election. That's where Harris's running mate could factor in. Sources tell ABC News vetting has already begun with at least 4 names on the list: Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, Andy Beshear, the youngest governor of Deep Red Kentucky, and North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. Harris visits Indianapolis today after her first rally in Wisconsin as the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee.
We who believe in reproductive freedom will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
And today, Trump is back on the campaign trail for the first time since Biden dropped out of the race. Sources tell ABC News the Secret Service has recommended the former president stop holding rallies outdoors following the July 13th assassination attempt. Today's event is inside. It comes hours after Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle's resignation over the agency's handling of that Pennsylvania rally. President Biden's speech tonight is expected to explain at least 2 things: why he decided to drop out of the race and what he hopes to focus on in his last 6 months as president. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, the White House.
Tensions over the situation in Gaza erupted in Washington, D.C. Wednesday. A minor scuffle broke out between protesters Tuesday prior to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech in front of Congress. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators pulled down Israeli flags and began stomping on them. The clash between that group and pro-Israeli protesters ended after police started to intervene. Authorities are attempting to keep the two sides apart as pro-Palestinian marches continue on the Washington Mall.
A FEMA Disaster Recovery Center will open this weekend in Wharton County. The center will be at the Wharton Civic Center, meeting rooms A and B at 1924 North Fulton Street. FEMA representatives are visiting with El Campo residents today. And 3 counties in the Crossroads are getting transitional sheltering assistance after Hurricane Beryl. FEMA's shelter program is coming to Jackson, Matagorda, and Wharton counties. Now, under the program, FEMA pays costs directly to participating hotels and motels, including room rates, taxes, and some pet fees. Texans taking part in the program are responsible for all other costs.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. Texas veterans received over $27 million in benefits, which is helping boost the economy both across the state and in Calhoun County. Plus, the Calhoun Port Authority says they ended on a positive year, bringing in around 4.5 million short tons. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today
on YouTube.
Stay with us. An explosion in Mexico leaves several dead. That's coming up on 25 News Now at 6.
Also ahead, we follow the cleanup efforts in Houston following Hurricane Beryl.
In Victoria in 2022 led to a lawsuit settlement with the city. On May 5th, 2022, a city ambulance collided with a Chevy Traverse, sending the ambulance into a pond. Frank and Betty Rader were rushed to hospitals. Frank died days later from his injuries. An investigation found the ambulance driver at fault for speeding and a faulty maneuver. DPS recommended criminal charges against the driver, but a grand jury declined to press charges. The Rader family settled their lawsuit with the city for the maximum $500,000 per state law. The city does not admit fault in the settlement.
At least 5 workers died after an explosion at the Jose Cuervo tequila plant in Mexico. The explosion happened in Jalisco, but officials do not know what caused it, only to say that it involved a tank car which set fire to even more vehicles. The company Casa Cuervo said in a statement it was aiding officials in this investigation. Jalisco's mayor encouraged people not to approach the area.
Volunteers in Houston are coming together to clean up the city.
They are picking up debris following Hurricane Beryl at a local cemetery almost 3 weeks later.
The roar of the chainsaws and the hands of help clearing off the hurricane havoc left by Beryl. Up to 60 trees lost with more than a dozen headstones damaged.
This is a big, huge, monumental task for us.
Margot Williams, she's part of the Descendants of Olivewood, the nonprofit organization that keeps the 150-year-old cemetery looking good. This morning, volunteers from Cheniere Energy out to help out, but federal assistance is not coming.
Basically, FEMA has said that we don't qualify as a museum or really like a cultural site, and so they don't fund cemeteries.
So for now, the cleanup is in the hands of Cheniere and their volunteers, and people like Charles Cook, who's been mowing and edging in Olivewood for more than 30 years.
It's all about community, you know. And we only come this way one time, so try to leave it a little bit better than you found it.
If you were to turn that camera that way, you can see our office building. So we're literally at the doorstep of where we work. These are our neighbors, so we want to give back to our neighbors.
Olivewood, a piece of Houston history, a piece of Texas history, needs help, needs your help.
This is a historical cultural site. The people that are buried here in Olivewood, they help weave the very fabric that is Houston, the very fabric that is Texas, the very fabric that is the United States of America. They tell the full American story.
Evictions exceeded pre-pandemic levels in some major cities. In Texas, records show eviction filings were above pre-pandemic levels in Houston and Fort Worth. This is in part to policies that make it easier for landlords to evict tenants in some states, and the fact that rental properties are increasingly owned by real estate investment groups, not individual landlords.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Cuero Record. The DeWitt County Appraisal Board passes the budget for 2025, and the Cuero ISD School Board sets a transfer agreement with Mayersville ISD. Parents also urge school officials to check the dress code. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
And we are looking at the current temperature of 78 degrees. How about that? We haven't said that in a while. Our high today only 86 because of the cloud cover and the additional shower activity. We're normally at about 95. You know, this rain chance, well, still hasn't come in. I think the whopping total for today is 0.03. But, you know, we're still going to get more showers. Hopefully no flooding problems. And then by the weekend, things do start changing. We'll be talking about that after this. Well, some people have asked me, where's the rain? Well, apparently it hasn't been at your house because some people have had quite a bit of rain. The shower activity, fortunately, is here, but we haven't had any huge problems. We haven't had any big flooding problems, and that's good. That's like the way we want to keep it, because if we can get 5 inches of rain for this week and not have any problems, you know, we're ahead of the game. So you can see how the old frontal system is still here. We had, of course, a looser atmosphere that allowed the shower activity to develop along the coastal areas, because San Angelo has no idea what we're talking about. It is hot and dry out there. And then you see this big bloom of showers. This is the remnants of what used to be an easterly wave, which is the beginnings of what could have been a tropical storm, but because pressure is so high, it didn't allow it to develop. So that is another reason why we have all this moisture around the area. This is the Doppler radar. You can see the city right there. Right now, this is within the hour, so nothing significant around the area, just little light rains, a little bit heavier showers out here near Yorktown and maybe Nordheim and headed down toward the Goliad area, but no severe weather. This is what I'm saying. It's good to get rain, but not, you know, all at one time with 80-mile-an-hour winds. This is the last 12 hours of rainfall, and you can see how here we are in the county, and we've had, you know, reasonable rain, 1-2 inches in most areas, with a couple of spots here in the purple coming in at about 2-3 inches. So yes, this is good stuff, and no significant roadways underwater. Now, Victoria County itself is not under the flood watch, but Jackson County all the way to East Texas continues to be under the flood watch, because remember, they're still dealing from that old tropical storm Beryl, because they've had so much water on the ground. So here is Future Tracker for the next couple of hours. We start tonight and then we go forward. You can see how we have a shower there. They sort of decrease, and then in the early morning hours, we get another little surge coming up for Port O'Connor and Port Lavaca. A lot of the heavier stuff stays to the east of our county, and as a result, it looks like that's why they're under the flood watch. Pretty good. Kind of goes together there. Otherwise, we'll see a little bit of cloud cover, 1 or 2 rays of sun, and then additional shower activity developing tomorrow afternoon. Now, long term, this is a big picture. The heat dome went out to the west coast. That's why we got lower pressure and allowed us to get the stormy weather. The stormy weather, it will be with us for a couple more days, but the dome is beginning to move. In other words, the winds across North America are shifting around, and the dome is going to be coming back out over the southern United States. That's going to shut down our rain chance, but not completely. We've got so much moisture on the ground, a little bit of heating will pop the showers. But I can tell you this, beginning on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, you're going to see a lot more sunshine and a lot warmer weather. Here's another, this is beautiful. This is the water vapor image. Notice this orange stuff. This is extremely dry and very hot air. A little bit of moisture here and the heavier rains out over the Gulf waters, which is, okay as well. But again, we need the rain on the mainland here. And if we get another additional 2 or 3 inches, it'll just put us in good shape as we head on into the long summer months. So tomorrow, isolated thunder showers again, but look at that, only 82 is a high temperature. In Cuero, we're also looking at isolated showers during the day, but again, your temperatures will also be in the low 80s, and that's not bad at all for this time of year. So showers on the wide, we call it an alert day because of potential flooding, but so far so good. And then by the time we get to Sunday, we'll see a little bit of sun. And then next week, we'll see a lot of sun and a lot of heat as well. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody, we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Karina.
Alrighty, and now here's Max with your sports.
Thanks, Karina. Victoria Northeast Baseball won the Southwest Regional Championship in Lockhart, Texas. That's coming up in sports. Stay with us. Yesterday, we gave congrats to Northeast Senior Little League baseball team for winning the Southwest Regional Championship and advancing to the World Series game in South Carolina on Saturday. Northeast Little League won 7-6 over Hondo Little League seniors last night in Lockhart after it was moved from Seguin. Some of the main contributors for the squad were Trent Garcia, Jazz Huff, and Andrew Alvarado. Also, shout out to the entire Victoria Northeast coaching staff and Arturo Alvarado, Lucky Gandy, Cedric Huff, and Benny Garcia. The boys' flights were canceled going to it, and they should be flying out tomorrow morning, hopefully to safe travels for the team and wish them luck in South Carolina. The Generals won last night against the Baton Rouge Rouge 9-1 at Riverside Stadium. The Generals got some runs scored early by an RBI sacrifice fly by Mark Henning and allowed Diego Diaz to score. Then in the third inning, Generals outfielder Damian Whitfield scored on a pass ball after Travis Bragg was issued a walk. The Generals would get up 2-0. They would keep piling up the runs, and they would win huge over the Rouge to take Game 1 of the series. They're back tonight at home at Riverside. First pitch is still planned for 7:05 p.m. Weather pending. Now over to the majors. The Astros are trying to keep back on the winning column against the Oakland A's earlier today. In the second inning, Astros star second baseman Jose Altuve hits an RBI single to left, and the Astros lead 2-1. They would add more runs with the solo shot by Chas McCormick in the fifth to extend the lead 5-1. The Astros were in control of the entire game and would win 9-1. They're still fighting with the Seattle Mariners for the top spot in the AL West. The Texas Rangers played Game 3 tonight against the Chicago White Sox at Globe Life Field. First pitch is at 7:05 p.m. They're currently 3 games back from both the Astros and again the Mariners in the AL West lead. They did survive last night, winning 3-2 with a big-time RBI double from Josh Smith. And the Rangers trying to keep their foot on the gas with Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. Over to the NFL, the Houston Texans announced they have sold out season ticket memberships for the 2024 season. Even though season tickets are sold out, fans still have an opportunity to purchase single-game tickets and just game tickets in general from the HoustonTexans.com and Ticketmaster.com. Texans Chair and CEO Cal McNair said, "Our fans are at the heart of everything we do, and we feel their energy and anticipation for the 2024 season. Texans fans and community are ready and prepared for another exciting season this year." And Coco Gauff will join LeBron James in leading Team USA at the Paris 2024 Olympics opening ceremony. The world #2 women's tennis star has been chosen as the female flag bearer. 20-year-old Gauff is making her Olympic debut. She was supposed to compete at the Tokyo 2020 Games, but didn't after testing positive for COVID-19. Both singles and doubles tennis competitions start Saturday, one day after the historic opening ceremony here in Paris. That's all in sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Max. We're back in a moment. A New Jersey couple says they had a smelly and scaly surprise when a fish came falling from the sky into their vehicle.
Ag Part 2, Calhoun County debuts on KMOL tonight at 6:30. It'll also be on KMOL Saturday night at 6:30. And Let's Grow Texas Ag will be on KXTS Friday night at 10 and on Saturday morning at 11. Finally tonight, a New Jersey couple said they heard their car alarm go off, and when they checked it out, Their car windshield was shattered. They found fish scales. They looked at the dash cam footage, which captured a 1-pound bluefish that fell from the sky. It bounced off the windshield and into the couple's garage. The couple believes a bird might have snagged the bluefish before dropping it mid-flight. Now all that's left for the couple is getting their insurance company to believe it. They might think that story is a bit fishy. Hey, we have 5 locations where our hurricane tracking guide, there you see it right there, can be picked up. Now go to crossroadstoday.com, click on weather, then hurricane tracker, and you'll see it on your right below Storm Prep 2024. It is I think you'd use the term handy dandy. It is a handy dandy.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. It's handy and it's really dandy. And it's free. You just pick one up at one of our sponsors, and we thank the sponsors for participating. One of them is the El Campo Cycle Center. Yeah, they're very big, so you know about them. And of course, you know, I'm telling you long term, right? It's going to be stormy for 3 or 4 days. Next week it will be hot and steamy. And then the tropics wake up again. Hello. So
it is that hurricane season.
So you're going so well there.
It is that season, and we've got to always be ready for it. Anyway, folks, the shower activity will be on and off for the next couple days, but by the weekend it should start to decrease. And then next week we get back to the sunny, hot, and steamy kind of weather pattern, getting back to the mid and upper 90s. Yay, that'll be fun.
All right, Meg, thank you, and thanks for joining us.
And we hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.